Munetaka Murakami came into this season with one of the most decorated resumes of any player to ever make the jump from Japan to the big leagues. At just 22 years old, he hit 56 home runs in a single season, breaking a record that stood for over 58 years. Before that, he'd already won a Triple Crown and won back-to-back MVPs and led his team to a championship. The power, the presence, and the production, it was all there in Japan, but MPB is not MLB standards, and there were real concerns about whether his game would translate, specifically with the strikeouts, which were always astronomical even by Japanese standards. He led the league in strikeouts multiple times over there while still putting up some of the most dominant offensive seasons the MPB had ever seen. The question was whether MLB pitching would expose him the way MPB simply couldn't. And so it's May 7th now, at the time of recording, and this is where he stands. A 237 average, a 369 on base, 565 slugging, 14 homers, which is tied with Aaron Judge for the most in the entire league as just a rookie, 2 months into his professional baseball career in America. But look past the home runs for a second because the full stat line is where it gets actually interesting. 55 strikeouts, which is second in all of baseball, and 28 walks, which is 7th in all of baseball, and only 1 double. That profile tells you exactly the kind of hitter Murakami is. He's the purest 3 true outcome hitter in all of the sport right now. He's either walking, striking out, or hitting the ball over the fence. There's little in between there, and that 1 double through 35 games almost perfectly represents that. It's almost a surprising sight to see when Murakami puts the ball in play, and it doesn't go over the fence, and it's just a single or a double. Because anything he hits hard enough tends to just go over the fence entirely. The strikeouts are going to be the thing people fixate on all year, and at this pace he'd shatter the all-time single-season record. That's not nothing, and it's worth taking seriously, but what gets lost in that conversation is that those 28 walks aren't just a coincidence. He's not up there hacking at everything and hoping. He's hunting a specific pitch, laying off everything else, and when he gets what he's looking for, the baseball basically has no say in what happens next. Long story short, he has a very good approach for a guy in his first MLB season, where most hitters spend the first few months trying to catch up to the velocity and movement that they aren't seeing in their home league. Murakami came over and immediately showed elite strike zone judgment. His hard hit rate leads the entire league, and his barrel rate is sitting over 22%. The contact quality when he actually connects is genuinely elite, and his expected stats basically mirror his actual ones, meaning that this isn't just a random hot streak that's going to correct itself. He homered in each of his first 3 MLB games, becoming just the 4th player in baseball history to do that. He went deep in 5 straight games in April. He hit a grand slam. This isn't just a couple hot stretches carrying the numbers. He's been a steady, consistent drumbeat of damage all season long. And he's doing this on a rebuilding White Sox team with no real protection around him in the lineup. Pitchers aren't being careful with him. They're attacking him because they have to. There's nobody behind him they're afraid of. And he's still sitting tied with Aaron Judge at the top of the home run leaderboard. That context actually matters. A lot of big power numbers come from guys hitting in the middle of elite lineups where pitchers have no choice but to give them something to hit. Murakami is getting none of that luxury and he's producing anyway. And that 1 double will sort itself out. A hitter with his exit velocity and barrel rate, who only has 1 double this deep into the season, is just running into variance. Balls that aren't quite getting out are finding gloves instead of gaps, and once that normalizes, the slash line will definitely look a lot more complete and normal. He's 26 years old in his first MLB season, and the question coming in was whether he'd be able to hold up against big league pitching. 35 games in, and that question looks a lot closer to a yes than a no. The strikeouts are real, and the walk rate is real, and the home runs are very real. That's just who Munetaka Murakami is, and the AL is still figuring out what to do about it.
Power. I have a
Power.
power.